When you think about civil society, you see an individual standing up for what is right.
For me, it's to change something for the positive, to make better this world for themselves, but more importantly for others.
It's actually very simple. It's people getting together to do something. They do it because they think it needs to be done. They see that the government is not providing the service, so they go together and do it.
Civil society is trying to claim basic rights for the normal person within the community. I'll give you an example. Somebody who's at the market and selling and paying taxes to the local government, all they are trying to do is to claim their right to good services.
Much of civil society is around speaking truth to power. It's about trade unions coming together to fight for workers' rights.
It's the anti-slavery movement. It's the women's rights movement.
Without civil society, there will be huge inequality in the countries that we work in, because civil society questions authority and requires accountability.
I think human history has been a continuous struggle against power and the excesses of power. The only two ways we can challenge that excess of power. One is by organizing into organizations and civil society, and the other one is by violence. Now, that violence option is hopefully off the table now. Let's now focus as us saying, we're coming with no guns, we're coming with no bullets, we're coming with a force of our numbers.
In South Africa, in the 1980s, it was students and trade unions and church leaders who came together to challenge power and deliver the greatest political miracle of the 20th century, the end of apartheid.
One major impact of the Kenyan civil society is the new constitution that specifically provides for the right to education, the right to health, and the right to water and sanitation. Those rights were not in the previous constitution at all.
India is an extremely unequal society. We've still had people who have been dying of hunger. It was very, very critical that the state takes responsibility of ensuring at least people's right to food. But the state was extremely reluctant. It was only the civil society efforts, the civil society's organized advocacy, mass pressure, which led to the Right to Food Act.
The biggest challenge now is to some extent that civil society has become a victim of their own success. There are governments saying, we don't want civil society to help keeping us in check. So what will we do? We will restrict these groups through legislation. We will even sometimes refer to them as terrorist groups. And we will put their leaders in jail.
So just at a time when civil society should be playing a greater role in our societies, the conditions on which we work are getting worse, not better.
It is in our own self-interest as human beings to allow a multiplicity of ideas, a multiplicity of views, as long as they're peaceful.
So whether you look at the environmental movement, whether you look at the feminist movement, it came from what is now called the civil society. And they incrementally keep moving towards the vision of changing the world, of creating a just and equal society.